When we're talking about defence and security, often we jump to like missiles and submarines, and particular weapon systems and the like. But from a Greens perspective, when we're talking about security, we start from a concept of human security. And I don't know about you, but when I wake up in the morning and I think about what makes me feel secure, what makes me as a human existing on this planet with the little sort of arc of life that I've got to me, what makes me feel secure is when I wake up in the morning and there's a roof over my head and I feel me and my family are physically secure. And I can think that my kids, if they need an education, the education is there and they can reach it without having to reach into their parents' wallet. When we get sick, we can go to a doctor, we can go to hospital, and society will take care of us. And when we want to engage in productive parts of our lives in workplaces, we'll be able to go to a workplace where our rights are respected and what we produce makes the world a better place. That's my concept of security when I wake up in the morning. And when I think about how to keep that secure, I think about what we need to fund our public education system, what we need to fund and run our public hospitals and Medicare. I think about ensuring that the climate that my kids and grandkids and future generations will inherit will be safe to grow the food, so we'll be able to have, plenty on the table. That's the concept of security that is entirely missed when our governments leap into nuclear submarines and war and missiles. Because when I wake up in the morning, I've never thought, bloody hell, I hope we have some nuclear submarines to keep us safe, right? That is not what grounds our sense of human security. And I think we should, when we're talking again about peace and war and security, never forget that actually the weapons industry is what creates insecurity, what creates fear, it takes away from all of those fundamental things we need for human security. And it's not just us who feel this way, right? And we need to remember this. Like, who are our opponents in this struggle? Who are the people we're up against? We're not up against the mum and dad taking their kid to school somewhere in Iran who are fearful if their kid's going to come home because it might get hit by a US missile. We're not up against the union activists in Minnesota who are blowing whistles against ICE. We're not up against the young couple in Beijing who are trying to make a life and an economic life for them and wondering if they can afford a kid. We're not up against each other, whether we're migrants or First Nations. We're up against the 1% who seem to want to run the planet to divide us and make war on us. And let's never forget who the real enemy in this is. And let's keep it focused. Because unless we actually take on that and recognise what human security is and what the real enemy on the planet is, we're not going to win the struggle.